Hello and welcome to AutoSpec Roaming. Canada is getting Chinese electric cars, and one of the first ones is actually the Tesla Model 3, because, as you know, Tesla Model 3 is also made at the Giga Shanghai factories under new incentives. If you want to learn more about incentives, Chinese electric cars, and similar, go to Simply Gregster's channel on YouTube. Fantastic resource on this. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the car itself, because the car Canada is getting is the Model 3 Premium rear-wheel drive, but not the long-range variant. And what does this mean? Well, this means basically that you have a smaller LFP battery. And the reason I talk about this car is because I have owned one of these cars in the exact specification, and I can talk about the ownership of the car, how the car is as a total package. I've also owned many Teslas over the years, but this one is important to me because I think it's one of the best offerings from Tesla, with the premium interior, LFP battery, everything that you can ask for. And I'm going to talk about the benefits. I'm also going to talk about owning a rear-wheel drive car in Norway. How does that work? Do you need studded winter tires, for example? Or are you fine with some friction winter tires in the winter? This is very important for Canada. For other markets where you might get this car later, or if you had this car, this video might be interesting just to talk about the history of this car, because this car was the cheapest Model 3 before we got the standard. And as you know, the standard stripped away a bunch of things from the car, specifically like the seat controls, no ventilated front seats, etc. But this premium rear-wheel drive LFP Model 3 has everything. And it even has a better sound system than the new standard, even though it's just a 9-speaker one. So let me just go through everything about this car. Then, the battery that's in this car is called CATL 6M. It's the 6M generation of the CATL battery. What does this mean? Well, CATL is a battery manufacturer, and they make batteries. Specifically, they make LFP batteries for Tesla. So Tesla used them as a LFP supplier, because Tesla doesn't make LFP batteries themselves. LFP batteries, if you don't know about them, I would suggest just Googling it. But basically, they are lithium iron phosphate batteries that are more robust. They are a little bit heavier, but they are fantastic from like a longevity standpoint. And I think they are amazing, but they have some cold weather issues if they are not thermally managed properly, which they are in this car. The car I owned didn't have this battery, but it had a very similar CATL 6L, but don't quit the video there, because I have extensive experience with the CATL 6M battery as well, because I've driven the Model 3, new Model 3 standard and the Model Y standard in Europe, which both have this new CATL 6M battery, and I've driven this with this battery in the winter to test the thermal performance and the charging performance as well. If you are a person that wants like in-depth details, go over on AutoSpec testing, go and search for CATL 6M, and you will see a Model Y, actually a Model Y rear-wheel drive premium there charging, but it's the exact same battery as is coming in this Model 3 rear-wheel drive in Canada. So let me talk about my ownership experience with the car. I had a red car with a white interior, and it was fantastic because it had such an affordable price, very similar to what's happening in Canada right now. Very, very affordable due to them being from China, of course. It had all the features that I looked for in a car. Great software experience, great drivetrain tuning, like the best drivetrain tuning that you can get for the price. Actually, one of the best drivetrain tunings in the world. And what I mean by that is like the pedal response, the one-pedal driving, how that feels. And then, again, the software experience, dog mode, ventilated seats, and even the sound system is pretty good. Even though you don't get the full premium sound system in this car, you get a 9-speaker one. But it's better than the standard that we get now with 7 speakers. So it's kind of in the middle, I would say. But the sound system, for the price, is actually pretty good. And most people will be very happy with the sound system. So remember that on the test drive. full blast on the sound system so that you can make sure that you like the sound system, but I'm pretty sure that you will like it. So, rear-wheel drive, how does that work in the winter? Well, on this channel I have multiple videos on this. I have a video with like 80,000 views regarding this, and I do recommend watching that video if you're interested in the rear-wheel drive LFP experience in Norway. But generally, all-wheel drive cars are helpful when climbing hills. So if you need to get up to the cabin, it's very helpful. But it gives you better propulsion first, not necessarily better road grip. Yes, you have more options for grip, so you have the front wheels and the rear wheels for options for finding grip. But when driving in a curve, it doesn't really matter that much if you have a rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive car. And this is a common misconception when it comes to rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive cars. Also, with a rear-wheel drive car, yes, you will have a tail-happy car, but all Teslas are very tail-happy and they feel like they are very easy to slide. With the full stability control system active, they are not necessarily that willing to slide, but they feel like it, and might be a little bit scary for people in the beginning, but I promise you the car will straighten itself, and it's incredibly safe in the winter actually. And even the rear-wheel drive version, I've driven it over mountain passes and everything. But I did have studded tires on the rear-wheel drive, and the reason why I chose studded tires is because I drive in locations with black ice. And in icy conditions, studded tires are actually better than friction tires, which are studless tires. And yeah, so black ice, studded tires. But a common misconception is that studded tires are better in absolutely every scenario. And that's wrong. They are absolutely not better in every scenario. If you have pure snow, like fresh snow, studless winter tires can perform better than studded ones. So don't go and buy studded tires necessarily. You need to look at your local laws, because there are, of course, different laws in different countries. I'm not sure how it works in Canada. I assume you are allowed to have studded tires, but I would not necessarily recommend it. It kind of destroys the NVH of the car, the noise, vibration, whatever the H stands for in the car. But friction tires are the absolute ones to go for. But get good winter tires. That's the thing here. Go and get some Nokians or the Viking Contact or whatever. Get Nordic winter tires or equivalent in your country so that you can get the best winter performance. That's so important. Don't cheap out on tires. And if you go for a rear-wheel drive here, please get a seasonal tire change. Buy tires for the summer, then for the winter, and then you have the option to have the best grip in every season. That's one benefit. You can have the optimal winter performance. You can have the optimal summer performance. But the third thing that many people don't think about when it comes to tire changes is that you never need to rotate your tires, because you do it at every seasonal change, so that you don't need to remove the tires and rotate them around to get even wear. You eliminate that thing and you get better grip in the winter and in the summer. So that's my recommendation. Get proper good winter tires, not necessarily studded tires. I only recommend studded tires if you live in Arctic climate, near the coast, where you get black ice on the road, because studs are better on pure ice and hard-packed snow, and almost in no other scenario. A tail-happy Tesla doesn't mean that it's a dangerous Tesla to drive in the winter. Yes, it's a little bit fun to drive. Most people that are driving enthusiasts would say that the rear-wheel drive car is kind of fun to drive in the winter, but it might be scary for some people. But I promise you, I've never lost grip in like a serious, scary situation. And the only way to do that is, in my opinion, to drive too fast or have bad tires or all-season tires in the winter. Yes, there are some good all-season options, but they are always worse than pure winter tires. So that's my recommendations for the Canadians. If you live in a climate that's not snowy, of course you don't need proper winter tires. All seasons are probably good, and they might be better because some all seasons are able to remove water. from under the tire faster than the winter tires to avoid aquaplaning. So again, you get the full premium interior aside from the sound system. So you do get a downgrade on the sound system over the all-wheel drive model, important to note. But you get the weather-sealed frunk. You get full matrix LED headlights, I think, in Canada. Let me know in the comments down below if you get full matrix LED headlights in Canada. Anyway, you get, of course, the full glass roof, ventilated seats, heated seats. 4 of the seats are heated, not the middle rear seat like the old Tesla. So that's actually a downgrade on the Highland. But anyways, 4 seats heated, industry standard, no issues whatsoever. Beautiful interior. I would choose the white one if possible. The black one is also nice, so choose whatever you like. But I like the white interior. It's very easy to clean and very nice. In my market, we have the ability to tow quite a bit with the car. 1,000 kilograms or something. Great for like a small trailer or whatever. Get the towing package if you are interested in that, and it's available in your market. And this is great because electric cars are fantastic for towing short distances. Long distances a little bit more annoying, but in most cases it's completely fine as well. But short distance towing, electric cars are simply better. So the overall ownership experience of the car, did I have any service visits, any issues with the car? No, I didn't really have that. I had a little bit of a rattle on the steering wheel. This was one of the early Highlands, so I assume that's now fixed. They usually go through and fix all the small issues over time. I had fantastic software updates, and again, I can't recommend using dog mode enough. Dog mode is such a fantastic feature. It enables you to have the dog in the car. You can monitor from the app, and it has emergency alerts on your phone if something goes wrong with the climate. So you can actually safely leave your pets in the car. There is also surveillance inside the car from the phone so that you can look at your dog, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, LFP cars in the winter can be prone to something called cold gating, where the battery is not able to heat itself enough to accept the full charging rate. And in Canada, you get temperatures below freezing, of course, below 20 degrees Celsius freezing, below 30 Celsius freezing. And actually in Canada, it can get as cold or colder, usually colder actually than Norway. In Canada, you have more extremes. In Norway, it's a little bit flatter. So we have more cold days, but in Canada, you can get to more extremes. Anyway, I have driven this car in minus 20 degrees Celsius with this battery, this exact battery, CATL6M. I drove the Model Y Standard recently over a mountain pass, and I had 3% state of charge on top of a mountain and then regened down. The battery thermal management in a Tesla is absolutely fantastic. It's the best in the industry, and this doesn't mean that you will always get the best charging speed with the LFP battery. If you cold soak the LFP battery, you might need 30, 40, 50 minutes to heat up the battery just to accept a charge. What's important here is that always navigate to a charger. You can get a third-party gear to be able to have manual preconditioning in the car, but if you have superchargers nearby or on your route, that's the way to actually preheat the battery. The thermal management in Tesla is so fantastic that it's basically the only electric car that lets you properly heat up the battery down to like 3% state of charge when arriving at a DC fast charger. There are some others that actually allow that, but the Tesla thermal management is absolutely phenomenal. So think about the LFP battery that's in this car. It's not the same as a LFP battery in other electric cars because the thermal management is so great. And it's not only great and efficient and able to quickly heat up the battery inside the car, it's super efficient. It uses the motor, it uses rare waste heat from the car and waste heat from the cabin to put it into the battery. So if you reduce the temperature inside the cabin, it will take the air out of the cabin into the battery to heat the battery. It's a phenomenal system. And this system is so fantastic. and it's one of my favorite Tesla features. And it works very well in older cars, and it works in this rear-wheel drive Teslas with this LFP battery, this CATL6M battery. So read about the CATL6M battery. You can read about it on this channel if you want to learn about the charging performance of this exact car that's coming into Canada right now. I would recommend watching the Model Y standard video that I did. It has the exact same battery. And if you just want general information about the car and ownership of having a premium Tesla, but with the LFP battery and the shorter range, I would recommend watching my Model 3 rear-wheel drive, the red one I had with the white interior. Bunch of videos on the channel, bunch of road trips, bunch of content. One benefit of this car as well is that it's a rear-wheel drive Tesla. It's basically one of the most efficient cars ever made in the history of the world. It's not necessarily the most efficient. It has some competition. The Ioniq, for example, and Lucid has some insane claims. But in real-world tests, even if you account for the trip meter or the efficiency counter in the Tesla being a little bit optimistic, it's incredibly efficient. And this means that it's a very low cost of ownership with the car in terms of energy costs. So depending on what you pay for energy, you can save so much money with having a rear-wheel drive Tesla. Anyway, good luck, Canadians. You are getting a fantastic Tesla product. And even if you're not that interested in Tesla, I recommend just taking one for a test drive, see if you like it. Maybe you don't like it. There are some weird things with the Tesla Model 3 Highline, like the gear selector, like the blinker stalk is a little bit weird. And there are things that are not amazing, like it's a sedan, not as practical. But I will say that it's probably one of the most practical sedans with a sedan openings ever made. It's very space efficient, has a bunch of space. So if you take one for a test drive, make sure to check all the nooks and crannies. And it drives amazingly well. Great seating position. Very comfortable in the new suspension because you get the full frequency response dampener suspension instead of the Model 3 standard, which doesn't get that. So you get all the benefits. It's just an insane package, and I assume it will sell incredibly well. Thank you so much for watching this AutoSpec roaming video. Subscribe for more content on Tesla Model 3s, Tesla Model Ys, and all other electric cars.